Welcome to the Keep the Faith podcast. I am your host, Tori. And with me, I have in the studio my guest. Welcome to the Keep the Faith podcast, if I didn't say that already. And in the studio with me, I have Mr. James Fletcher Williams. And what I'm going to do today, which I don't normally do, I'm going to try to share this to my personal page. So y'all bear with me one moment. I'm going to also try to share it to my personal page. So bear with me. Hope I do this correctly. I don't know what I'm doing. It's not sharing. Let's see. For some reason, it's sharing to my own. See, I don't know what I'm doing. Are you able to see it? No. Well, did you tell everyone to follow the page?
Sure.
So they can see it? Okay, hold on. Brian, I may need some assistance. See if you can share it to my personal page. And what you may need to do, Brian, is I can give you my phone and share it to my personal page. And when you share it to my personal page, you can? Okay. All right, guys. Welcome to the Keep the Faith podcast. I'm your host once again, Tori. And I was trying to do something different today. I was trying to share it to my personal page, but I never do that right. So, but anyway, I have Mr. James Fletcher Williams in the studio with me today. And actually, he's actually going to show you, he said he doesn't have a soft side, but he really does. He's going to show you his soft side today, because what everyone is used to is James having these outlandish Facebook posts. I mean, you cut up really bad on Facebook, but I'm going to tell you why you do that, at least why I think you do that. When you share what you have to share. And just like I told you, I want you to share what you're comfortable with sharing. I pray and hope that this will be a healing process for you, a stepping stone for you to your healing process. And know that this is a journey that you're on through your healing. So I hope that this will help. And I pray that it touches someone out there listening. But first of all, before we get into your testimony, tell us a little bit about James. Where did James grow up and all of that good stuff?
Oh, I grew up in Bennettsville, South Carolina. I graduated from Marlboro County High, class of 98. Go Dogs. I have two daughters, Deja and Alexis. I'm a single father. They're both in college. I have a full-time job. I won't say where, but
everybody know.
I do have a full-time job. I'm laid back, go to church, into football. Love to play around on Facebook.
All the time.
That's about it.
Wait a minute. So both of your daughters in college?
Of course.
I did not know that. What are their ages?
They're 22 and 19.
Wow, I did not know that, James. Okay. Well, basically, why I and actually we planned for this particular podcast. We planned for this what about 4 weeks ago? And I told you, I asked you to talk about this, but at the time I wanted to make sure that you was comfortable with talking about it. So you let me know that you was comfortable. So I'm just going to let you talk, and I'll ask questions based on what you say. Now, basically, for those that don't know, because a lot of people follow your Facebook page and they see your crazy posts. So a lot of people may not know what you've been through, what you're going through. And like I said, it's a process. So just give your testimony. And like I said, based on what you say, then I'm going to ask you questions. And like I said, say and speak that, anything that, that you're comfortable with speaking. So basically tell your testimony for those that don't know, because of course, you have people that know, that are close to you, that know your testimony, but not everybody does. There's some people that follow your page and they just see your crazy. They call you a clown. They call you, but they don't know what you really go through.
All right. Understand. Okay. Well, I'll start when I was a teenager, like 13. I lost my mom early. So my parents was married, but my mom passed away when I was only 13. So that was my first traumatic loss. But my father, that was already there the whole time, he stepped up and, finished taking care of us, till we got grown, and out on our own and everything. And he was around like 25 years after my mom. And then in, 2018, I lost my dad, which is like 3 years ago. Of course, my dad was a pastor. His name was Apostle James Williams Sr., because I'm junior. So of course I've always been, raised up in the church, and my dad was a strong man, church background, so everything he taught us was basically church first. So I seen how he dealt with, the passing of my mom, and that being his wife, and he was around my age now at the same time when my mom passed away, and so he was strong. I only seen my dad cry a couple of times, but he just always just taught us to be strong and try to deal with things, pray. Us as black men mostly don't believe in counseling and stuff like that, so you find other ways to try to deal with stuff, without going to counseling or anything. So, but then my father passed away. He wasn't sick or anything, just out of the blue. He just took sick one day, and then like a week later he passed away. So that was kind of shocking, out of nowhere, complete good health. I guess God just called him home. And so I was dealing with that, like struggling to get over that, like losing your father, early. I'm only 42 now, so I was like 39. So to be without any parents at 39 is kind of early. It's not as early as some people. Some people lose their parents a lot earlier, but to be 39 without either one of your parents, you don't have, any. I don't say I don't have any guidance, but you don't have someone to go to that's really close that you can depend on, that's going to give you sound advice that's followed by love, and caring, that they have your best interest in heart. Some people might try to tell you stuff and give you advice, but it's not your best interest at heart. It might be theirs, or try to guide you, in the path that they want you to take. But your parents truly try to give you what's best for you, and, what to help you. So without having that, not only as being my father, he was also my pastor, because he was pastor at St. James, where I still attend now, even though he's not here. But so I lost my father and my pastor. So, I really had like no one to talk to, other than my brothers and sisters, which was going through the same thing I was going through, because he was their father and pastor. So, but I mean, we kind of just bonded together like we always have, and just stuck through it. And then recently, the beginning of this year, January 23rd, exactly 7 months today, I lost my fiance. It was unexpected. We was 3 weeks away from getting married, and God just called her home unexpectedly. We didn't expect it. She went to work that Friday. Everything was fine. It was time to get off, and she had a blood clot, and it bust, and it carried to her, her lungs, and it stopped her breathing and everything. So she didn't make it. She fought, but I guess God was ready for her. So we lost her. And I just been dealing with that for like the last 7 months, trying to wrap my head around that, so then again, I got a doctor and everything. I go to my doctor, and, she asked, just like everybody else, do you want to go to counseling? Do you need counseling, grief? How you deal with stuff like that. But I always say, no, I don't, I'm good. It's not that I don't feel like I need it or anything, but I honestly don't. Like I'm a strong man. So I've always been strong. I follow a lot after my father, and I saw how he dealt with it. So that's basically the same path I take, I'm not going to say my faith is as strong as he is in God, but I believe in God. So I pray to God, and I ask him to, try to guide me and carry me through it. And, at the same time, while praying to him, I questioned the decision, that he made to take her. So it's kind of, I struggle with that a lot, like, praying to him and asking him to guide me, but at the same time, praying to him, asking him why, why did she have to go so early? Why did she have to lose her life? But I know a lot of people say you can't question God, but I've learned in my experience that, you can question him. You just might not get the answer you want. So I ask him why. I haven't gotten the answer, but I'm content with that. If I ever get one, I will. If I don't, I don't. But it's a day-to-day thing. Different things come up in life that you was prepared. Like we was prepared to go on the honeymoon, take a trip, go to Vegas, enjoy life. We talked about things we was going to do, maybe have some kids or something, all of that. So you just question, how you going to do all that. So, I mean, I don't sleep as much as I used to because I see her all the time. I think about her. I go to her grave, talk to her. I just sit out there sometimes, take flowers, just talk to her like she's still there, So, I mean, basically that's just how I deal with it.
And I was going to ask you, how long did you guys date prior to her death?
Like 5 years.
Okay. Wow. And like I said, I feel like, because like a lot of people know you cut up really bad on Facebook. But to me, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I think you do that because of the pain. Would you say that? Because, people deal with pain different ways. And a lot of times men, especially men, not necessarily black men, but I just think men in general, you guys, like with women, we're more emotional and we express ourselves. But with men, you guys, like, y'all go in caves, y'all shut down. And I think like you do different things too when you go through grief. And there's so many different coping mechanisms when you're experiencing grief. So many coping mechanisms. Like, I feel like you cut up really bad. That's just my opinion. You cut up really, you show out bad.
It's Facebook, like it's for entertainment purposes.
Yeah,
It's not like, I never looked at Facebook as real life. And for us to cutting up, that's just who I always been. I've always been a jokey, cutting up guy.
But I mean, like, how do you do it? Like, the reason why I say that is because, like, sometimes for me, and I can only speak for me. Like, sometimes I'm dealing with grief. I don't want to do nothing. Like, I don't want to do Facebook. I don't want to talk. I don't want to do anything. But it's like, I admire you because you get up. I mean, it's like this. I will say this to you because I believe in, giving people their flowers where they live. And it's like, you never know. Someone may be going through something and they come across one of your crazy posts and we may be having a day where we're sad, but we come across something crazy that you say and it makes us laugh. It really makes our day. Even though I tell you, like, yo, I told you the other day, I was like, you need Jesus, right? You was like, we all do.
We all
But it's just like, I just felt like it was a coping mechanism for you because of the pain. That's a lot to lose your mom, your dad, and then your fiance. That's a lot.
Right. But at the same time, the jokes and stuff, but I still have a message in it. It's still a point to it. A lot of people don't agree with my theory and the way I think about things or what I say, but I try to tell people to think about it, listen, like read it, and it's a point behind it. But a lot of people call me male chauvinist, I bash women and stuff, but that's not the case. I love women. I always have, but so it's not like me trying to put anyone down. I believe in uplifting everybody. That's where I come from. That's my background, uplifting. But it's just like the joking, to have fun. Like you say, it might be a part of helping me deal with the grief, to keep my mind off of certain things, stuff like that. But I just like to have fun, enjoy life pretty much. Because like you said, you never know when your time is coming. You never know your last day. What's the last thing you're going to be doing. So I don't want to have any regrets. I don't want to leave anything on the table. So I just pretty much try to do, whatever I can on a day-to-day basis. And most of the time, if it's cutting jokes, I do have people inbox me, or sometimes they comment on the post like, you're so funny, you crazy. Like, like, you just make me laugh. You made my day. Anytime I need a laugh, I go to your page, stuff like that. So I would say maybe sometime that inspired me to, maybe try to put something out kind of funny or whatever. Because, like, laughter is, medicine, so it kind of helps people.
Right. And then the other thing that I was going to ask you, like, when you have those times, those days where you going through, those days that you may be going through having a very hard time, do you, it comes to mind, when you have those days where you're really going through, are you still able to make those posts where you make those jokes? Because, you're going to have those times where you're really going through sometimes. Are you like some of them? That's why I said it's a coping mechanism, and I'm going to go through some of the comments as well.
Why I talk?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like when you have those days, like when because I know there's days where it hits you and you sad.
I try not to have those days, but days that really get me down is days I go to the graveyard, and it's no, that's not me posting Facebook. I try to keep that private. When I go out there, I don't go like take pictures and show them at the graveyard. I don't knock nobody for doing that because people deal with grief in different ways. But when I'm out there, it's just my time to, if I go to my mom's grave, it's to talk to her. If I go to my dad, it's to talk to my dad. If I go to Tanika's grave, it's to talk to her. So I just go talk to them, and I always leave, kind of happy with a smile on my face. So, but yeah, so pretty much, but if I'm really down, it's probably a down day on Facebook. I'm probably not going to post anything.
Okay. I'm going to go through some of the comments. Patricia Richardson says, hello there. Sheila Tay says, hey, Tori. Kimberly Jeanette says, hey there. Jamil lied. Oh, you tagging somebody. And Victor White says, through the comedy, I feel your pain, bruh. Behind every smile is a cry. You bring joy to people's day through your posts. I totally get it, bruh. Constance says, yeah, he shows out now. And Victor says, keep doing you, bruh. These women won't ever get it.
All right. Okay. I agree with that. He sounds like a smart guy.
Don't tell Victor that to blow his head.
He sounds like a smart guy.
And then what else? Let me see what else Victor said. He says, I get it. It's men get it. Keep doing you. The men approve.
And that's what I do it for the men.
See that?
Somebody had to be a voice for us, to speak for us.
You know what, us men get it, we approve. Anyway, but like I said, you a lot of stuff you post, and there was something I should have screenshot it, but there was something that you posted the other day that was very thought provoking, and I was like, and every once in a while you'll post something really crazy, you know how you do, but then you'll post something that made people think, and I wish I would have screenshot that post. There was something that you posted the other day, and I was like, who hacked your account again?
I remember that, but I don't remember what the post was.
I don't remember what it was, but it's like I said, when I look at your page every day on a daily basis, you will never expect that, the pain that you experience. You never, and since I've been knowing you, I didn't know that you lost your mom at such a young age. I knew about your father, but I did not realize that you lost your mom at such a young age. 13, that's really young to lose your mom. That's tough.
Right.
And then, but thank God you had your father there. But that's tough. So, but you've been dealing with it. You've been dealing with it with ease, because, like I said, I didn't even know.
I wouldn't say it was with ease.
For me, it appears that way. For somebody on the outside looking in, for me, you can't even tell. Like, you could, like I said, when I first met you, you always cutting up, acting crazy. Right. So you can't tell.
But again, that's just the way my father raised us. And, he taught, like, you never wear your feelings or your emotions on your sleeve. So, regardless of what you're going through, whatever the problem or the situation, you remain smiling. You stay happy, because you don't know who's looking at you, and who needs a smile. And just a smile can brighten somebody's day, because they might be going through a whole lot more. So I smile. So whatever I'm going through, I continue to just try to smile, and I just deal with it, like, on my own, or, like, behind closed doors, stuff like that.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think at some point you may consider counseling? Because never?
No.
Why not? Because, I mean,
I'm my own counselor. I talk
but
about
it's helpful to talk to other people sometimes.
I mean, that might be the path some people take, but I don't think it's my path.
Okay.
I mean, I like to think I can school the counselor.
Okay, I respect that. Because sometimes we do need some outside, outside assistance and stuff in regards to that. Now, one of the other things is, when you have those days, you don't ever get to the point where you shut down, do you?
No.
Okay, and the reason why I ask that question, because I'm one of I do that sometimes. Like, when I'm dealing with grief, I'll shut completely down. Won't talk on the phone, won't respond to texts, won't answer phone calls or anything like that. So that's a great thing that you don't shut down.
No, I don't. No, I'm not gonna say I don't cry. I try to pride myself on not crying, because I'm a guy. But I mean, I cried when I lost my mother. I cried when I lost my father, and I cried when I lost Tanika, like baby crying, like, really seriously crying, like. Even if you try to fight it, sometimes you can't. It just happens. So I mean, it was more of shock, hurt, disappointment, just a lot of emotions, and you just cry mainly because, I mean, it's no longer about you. Even though they're gone, and they didn't live their life, and they did everything they could do, but it's just like, it was just so shocking and disappointing. To, like, with Tanika, I just knew, like, her dreams and everything she had, to look forward to on a daily basis, and, becoming a wife and all that stuff, just the things she wanted to do and everything, and that, she didn't get to experience it. And that just, like, that hurts me just as much as, like, losing her, because I knew her faith and everything in God, and, just what she wanted to do. And it just, that bothers me and keeps me up, that, she didn't get to do it. I even had people, to tell people and stuff, like, to say that, that, because of me, like, no knock on her, because to me she was perfect, but I wasn't. I had my flaws, my faults, things I did that, prolonged us getting married. We probably would have already been married if I wasn't doing, the things that I was doing. So I wasn't ready. I wasn't the man that I needed to be. I didn't step up like I should. And her being the woman that she was and her faith in God, it was like until I get to the place where I need to be, she wasn't going to be my wife. So that prolonged it. And I feel bad about that because I didn't step up and do what I should have done. So, I had some people say, that they feel like God took her because I wasn't going to step up and do what I'm supposed to do.
Somebody really told you that?
Somebody told me that. Somebody told her mom that. They said it to other people.
What?
Yeah. So like that bothers me. That, people would think that I don't know what kind of God they serve or anything, but I don't understand, like my sins, I have to pay for my sins. So, whatever I did wrong, I'm going to have to live with that. I'm going to have to pay for it, so she's not here to, pay for my sins. So her losing her life, wasn't on me. It wasn't my doing, but that's just people. That's just what people say when, people are very insensitive when the situation is not theirs.
Right. That was very insensitive.
And then when it comes to their family members and stuff like that, they want, they want sympathy and they want you to be there, and, show them compassion and everything. But, yeah. But I still smile, the same people. I still say, hey, talk to them, not without giving them a piece of my mind because I'm that person. So, if you feel like you bold enough to say that kind of stuff, be bold enough to say it to me.
Yeah.
But I'm the type of person, if I hear, that you said it, then I'm coming to you and we'll talk about it. Like, how your parents and grandparents used to say, they lay down their religion and say what they got to say and then they pick it back up, so I'm one of them saints. I'm one of them Christians. I lay it down and I pick it back up when I'm finished.
And I believe that too. And one of the other things that you said earlier was the fact that you questioned God. I think that is normal for you to question God. I think it's normal, especially when death occurs unexpectedly. I think it's fairly normal to be angry. It's normal. So I mean, it's just one of those things where you question, especially when it's out the blue. When it happens all of a sudden, especially when you talk about your father not being ill or anything, and it happens all of a sudden, that's hurtful because I have like people that I've lost along the way that, that was taken away suddenly. And it's a struggle. Right. It's a struggle. And it's hard not to question God. It's hard not to be angry. It's hard not to say, well, God, why did you know what I mean? Just like you said, why did you have to take them away?
Right.
Especially when they are, in your case, when her faith was strong, you feel as though why, but it is. I mean, it's one of those things.
Right.
And let me see. We'll read through some more of the comments. Victor says, "No counseling. Women always want to fix what's not broken." Okay, Victor. Whatever. His therapy is through his post. Okay, I said I respect that, Victor.
I think Victor should have been in here with us.
Victor might have had a word. I don't know. And Chanel Austin says, "Don't feel bad. We all know that she was the happiest she could be leaving this earth. And that was because of you. That's all that matters." And she would tell you that. Now that's beautiful that she would say that, because I can't believe somebody would told you that. That was very insensitive. So as long as she knew that you made her happy, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what anyone else says, and you shouldn't feel bad because, like you said, people are going to be people. But it kind of ticked me off a little bit that somebody would say that.
Right. I don't worry about what people say to me because I can handle me. But to say that to a mother that lost her child, her daughter, someone she spoke to every day, several times a day. Like another thing that got to me when we was in the hospital and like we had to pull the plug. Like her mom was in the room and she was like, she don't want to be in there when you put the plug. She gave the consent to pull it, but she didn't want to stand there.
Yeah.
And like as we put the plug, I stayed in there with her. I talked to her all the way until she stopped breathing. I stayed with her. I talked to her. I told her I love her. I'm gonna miss her. I'll still be here for her mom, her niece, and her nephew. I'll still do my part. Like I still have a bond with her niece and nephew and her mom. I still talk to them. But her mom was out the room, and then when she passed away, I cried. Kissed her. Told her goodbye. And when I decided to tell her mom, her mom was out there crying and everything. And she was like, this the saddest day of my whole life, like the worst day of my whole life. And this lady then buried both of her parents. She then buried her husband, everything. And she considered losing her daughter the worst day of her life. She's 70 years old. She's had a lot of days. But that was like her worst day, losing her daughter. And then someone can be that insensitive and say that to her. Like, your daughter died because the man she chose to marry wasn't good enough. You know, that's just crazy. You can just sit there and say that without no problem, no remorse. So I don't know what kind of God you serve, but my God don't allow me to like sit there and don't say anything to something like that.
Right.
So,
right.
You know, I believe in him. I trust him. I try to have respect for my elders and everything. But at the same time, my dad taught me, you know, in order to get respect, you got to give respect. And just because you're older than me don't mean I have to respect you based off your age. So
with that being said, I know you laid your religion down, didn't you?
Yeah, pretty much. The little bit of religion I do have, I laid down. I might be got a little more sense then, you know, because I had to pray for that. But I mean,
yeah. But you did repent.
And I didn't say repent because I didn't feel bad about it.
Oh, you didn't feel bad?
No.
You said what you had to say. It was done.
I smiled.
Oh God, you smiled.
Yeah, I smiled.
You laid your religion down. And you smiled while you were doing it.
Yeah.
Now, this is the other thing I was going to ask you. Since you are, and this is coming, you know, because I didn't want to get sad, because I feel the sadness coming. But since by your father being a minister, is that something that you think you would do in the future?
Like you don't do ministry. I mean, it's a calling.
It's a calling. I'm saying it's a calling, but I'm feeling. Do you feel like the calling is that? I feel like with some of the posts that you do, I feel like sometimes you're right. It's a calling, and I feel like sometimes people can run from their calling.
No, I'm not built for running. You see me? I'm like 300 pounds. I don't run.
I'm gonna need you to be serious.
I am serious, but I'm saying I don't run. But no, like in all honesty, you know, people have been telling me that my whole life. You know, I guess because you're a pastor's son. You know, you're gonna be a preacher. You're gonna take after your dad. You know, I have his name and all. You know, but as of right now, to me, that's not my calling. That's not what God said. Like, you know, I mean, you can still reach people and bring people to Christ without being, you know, a pastor, you know, or a preacher. You know, you have deacons, trustees, you know, different things, you know, ushers. You know, you never know what's your role in the church. Yeah. I'm not saying that I'm running from it. I'm not saying that I'm supposed to be a minister or that I ever will. But I mean, that's something like, you know, if God called me, we'd have to talk about it.
Absolutely. Let me read the comments. Tamika Antoinette, I believe there is a calling on his life. I believe she needs to change the channel. Ooh, I like that. See. I'm not. Listen, look at Constance. I feel he's running. See.
Okay, but listen. Me running or feeling a calling on my life, like I said, don't mean I'm supposed to preach. I could reach people other way. Like I could reach people through Facebook. You never know. I might reach somebody through this podcast. You know, I mean, you never know. So,
trust me, you're gonna reach somebody through this podcast.
You never know. I'm not the running type. I've never ran from anything.
But listen, I just, like I said, I really admire your strength and everything that you know, and let me just say this. There was one day, and y'all, like I said, and y'all know I get real country, but James has these crazy posts on Facebook, but he was sending a message that you never know. Like, you sent me a message one day last week, and that day I was having a hard time. And when you sent that message, it brought tears to my eyes because I was having a rough day.
See, I could reach you that way. See?
Yeah, you did. So, I mean, and I was like, is this you?
A lot of people are surprised by that. I don't understand. Like, they think everything I say is not funny. Some stuff's serious.
Yeah, that was serious. That was like what I needed that particular day. God really used that particular day, because I looked at the message and I was like, this really deep. But it's like, that's me. Right. I thought you stole it from somebody.
Nah, come on. A lot of people seem to think that. I don't know why. I mean,
yeah. Let me see what Victor says. Victor says, we need to stop worrying about other people's feelings. Obviously, they didn't care about his or his mother-in-law's. Just remember, the God we serve is just and fair. No one said he's a pushover. I would have laid a mighty hand on that person. I already know, Victor. I already know.
Victor, it wasn't a guy, Victor. We can't hit women. So you can. That's the only thing, because I agree with Victor. I'm not afraid of any guy. I'm afraid of a gun, but I'm not afraid of a guy.
Oh, okay. So Lord, let me see. Tamika said there's a calling as well. However you choose, that's a calling as well. However you choose to do it, and that is absolutely right, Tamika. As you know, you can use you can be called, and you can have many different platforms. It doesn't necessarily have to be the pulpit, but like you said, it can be different platforms. Because like for me, I hope and pray, like you said, I hope my podcast touches people. And people that are watching today, they're going to see a different side of you, because a lot of people just think you just tell jokes all day, but you do have a serious side. And then in the post, you remember in that post, you said that I said that you have a soft side. You do have a soft side. I don't have a soft side. Yes, you do. You are very, like, people that really know you, they know that you have a beautiful heart. You have a really good heart.
That's because I care about them. So of course I'm soft to them.
And let me see what Constance says. Constance says, when God touch, do you think some of those posts you make will clean up a little bit? When God touches you,
I think what's gonna clean up isn't she gonna find herself not one of my friends. That's what's gonna do. So I'm playing because she probably gonna fuss about that. Yes, I think that my post will clean up when God decides that he wants me to clean them up. Not that they're that bad that, God needs to clean them up. I just think people take them out of context. If their mind was like my mind, we would all get along a lot better.
Your mind be all over the place sometimes.
But I try to give inspiration. It's just different. When you say things that, not trying to bash women or anything, but I saw a guy, and he said a comment, he said, women, they like to control a guy's thought or the way he thinks. And, when they can't control the way the guy thinks, then they feel like the guy is disrespectful or he rude or something, stuff he says. I'm not disrespectful. I just think for myself. I just always been my own person. I have my way of thinking. So I don't try to come across as, like bashing women or not caring about them or anything, because I have a mother. I had a mother. I got a sister and I got daughters. I only got girls. And I teach them, I open doors for them. I open doors for any woman I'm around. I don't allow no woman to open the door or anything. I do the gentlemanly thing like I was taught. And I teach them that, you got to require the guy to respect you. You set the standard for, what type of guy you deal with. And if you let him do anything to you, he's going to do anything. But if you show him that he can't do certain things, then he either will respect that or he'll move on. Right. But you will know what kind of guy you got. So I'm not, like this guy that don't care about women or stuff like that. But to me, the jokes and stuff is just funny. It's just supposed to be funny. Like, don't take it personal. Don't. I have to tell people all the time, don't put yourself in the joke. Don't make it about you. Yeah. You get people inbox you, was you talking about me or is this about me? I'm like, I barely know you. What do you mean?
If they think it's something you post is about them, that's some deep insecurity.
Yeah, but I don't want to say they're insecure or anything. I'm just like, oh God, my life is not that deep or important that it should matter what I say to you. That should not offset your day.
And especially if you don't know.
Right. If you take my post and get that serious, then something's wrong.
Wow. Let me see. Let me try to catch up with some of the comments. Victor says, can we push them?
I'm not condoning anything Victor does. I need to say that on the record.
Victor, no. So can we push? No.
Victor, we need to talk off air.
No. And Chanel Austin, yep. And Constance is laughing. Victor says, God has already touched him. His messages reach the intended audience. No disrespect, but some of you won't get it, and it's okay if you don't. And that is true. That is true. I feel like the messages that James posts, and like Victor said, the ones that are supposed to get it are going to get it. Because like I said, you post you post some crazy stuff, but those messages, those ones, like the one, like I said, when I said this is you post some deep stuff when you that day you thinking you'll post something deep.
I think I'm gonna make it my business to try to be at least deep once a day.
Oh God!
Not
can
deep, but
can we do twice? Can we do twice a day?
I do have a full-time job, that I work.
Like you can do it before you go to work and after you get off.
Because it has to be in between those hours because my job don't allow us to be on the phone during working hours.
Oh, you can't be. Really? I don't believe that because you be on Facebook all the time. I don't believe that.
Not during working hours. Mm-hmm. Facebook loads up late, So,
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
don't try to clean it up. Don't try to clean it up. No, you be on Facebook when you don't need to be on. You be sneaking on Facebook. Let me see.
No, I work.
Oh, good. So I look at Tori trying to change. So I am not.
She trying to change me. But
Listen, he's the last one I could try to change. Listen, he gonna do what he want to do when he want to do it and how he want to do it. That's just how he roll.
I didn't say that. Like I have my restraints. You know, I don't do everything I want to do when I want to do. You know, I still have my dad in me, so he still talks to me. You know, even though he's not here, but you know, some of the lessons that he taught and some of the things he said still stick with me. You know, when I might want to do something that I shouldn't be doing. So I try.
So you do have moments. So what you're saying is you do have moments where you feel convicted.
I say his lessons.
You know what?
I try to live without regret, so I don't want to say that. You know, I feel convicted because I mean.
So you never do anything that causes you to be convicted. Never. Never.
Okay, like this is the only.
Tell the truth, James.
I'm gonna tell the truth if you let me talk. This is the only thing that I took from a woman. I never do anything wrong. In my eyes, I do no wrong, and that's the way women think. They don't do any wrong. So
because we don't.
Exactly. So anything I say and do, I think I'm supposed to do. See, like y'all said, there's a calling on my life, right? So that means I'm led by God. So if I'm doing something, it's God telling me to do it.
Not everything, James.
It's God telling me to do it. God works in mysterious ways. So, you know, just because you don't understand what he's telling me to do or what he's saying, don't mean he's not saying it. Don't mean he's not talking to me.
Look at Chanel also saying she's shaking her head.
It just means y'all got to learn to accept it. Like I had to learn to accept things. You have to learn to accept, you know, things that God allows to happen in the way he's allows it.
Everything.
You have no choice. Like I said, you can question it, you know, once it happened, but.
Oh, Lord. Look at James. Look at Vic to my preach, James. Don't tell him that. And then Tamika, yes. Right, Jesus, right. Call him.
But see, y'all said for me to preach, and then when I preach, you got something to say about what I'm preaching about.
Listen, Victor said we do no wrong. Okay,
all
right. Chanel, he's allowing you room to bump your head. I agree with that. Constance says, "Lord, get your child. He doing here being a comedian again." And Victor says, "Son of a preacher man." Look, you know what?
Hey, the only one who could ever teach me.
But I'm saying you gotta have some times where you just be like, you know what? Should I have done that? Should I have said that? You can't tell me.
I feel like it depends on the person.
Okay,
I'm gonna give you a situation, and okay, I know I was wrong, but the situation called for what happened. There's an incident when my father passed away, and like 2 days later, someone came to my sister's house, like to setting up, you know, and they had like some words for her, you know, and this was a Christian couple, like a man and a woman. They both was preachers, there's pastors, and they said something like, you know, to my sister, and we was outside, and I could tell that it disturbed her, you know, so I walked over to the conversation, and you know, I was like, hey, I was like, Connor, you okay? She's like, I'm all right, you know. And it's like, who are you? I was like, she's like, are you her husband? I was like, no, I'm her brother. I'm the son you don't want to meet. And the lady was like stuck her chest out, like, I'm not afraid of meeting anybody or whatever. So I just looked at my sister and I could just tell she was shaking. So I told her to, you know, go back in the house, you know, because she had to deal with, you know, the people in there. And I'm not ashamed to say I might have been wrong, but I cussed them people out in that yard, and I told them to get out my sister's yard. Like, my dad just died.
Yeah,
you don't come here with that. It's the way that you do everything, and even thing that he taught me, you know, like to have respect. You have respect for people, and you do everything decent and in order. And if you Christian people and you Christian folk, and you got that platform, you're a pastor. Like, that's another thing why I say, I'm not running, but I'm not a preacher. I'm not bashing anybody for anything that they do, but we do have our real preachers and we have our fake preachers. You know,
I
the
agree
Bible
with that.
teaches you like people can copy anything.
I agree with that.
I'm not the type that I'm gonna get up there and play with God. So if I'm gonna be for real for God, I'll be for real for God. You know, like some people say, you hear preachers tell sometimes, like when I was out there for the devil, I was doing my thing. I lived a good life. I lived my life until God called me to his side. So I'm not ashamed about that. But if you're gonna get up there and say you're a preacher, a woman, or man of God, then you should live behind that. And to me, if you step out of line and do wrong and say things that you should not be saying, I'm not talking to you as a preacher. I'm not disrespecting the man or woman of cloth. I'm disrespecting the man or woman that you are. And so, like, my biggest thing, I'm big on family. I only got one sister. I got two brothers, so it was always three boys. My sister is the oldest. She thinks she our mom. So it's like I lost my real mom, but I still have a mom here. So we still have to buy a Mother's Day gift and all that stuff. But I mean, if you're gonna have her in tears, then you're gonna deal with me.
I respect that.
So
I respect that.
I felt bad about that, you know. And my sister was like, "You cussing them people out, you know." I'm like, I told my daddy, I was honest with my dad about everything. And I told him, I'm like, I'm your son. And my dad was the type of man that he put up with a lot of stuff, you know, behind his faith and everything in God. You know, people would disrespect him, say stuff or whatever. And he would just always, he's the type that, you know, turn the other cheek, shake it off. But I told him, I was like, Dad, I love you to death, but I'm not that guy. I just can't be that guy, you know?
Yeah. And that's what the Bible teaches us to but sometimes it's hard to do that. I'm not gonna even lie.
Right.
It's hard to turn the other cheek.
I ain't got to that place yet where I can turn the other cheek.
But I can say that I'm there now. I'm at the point where I can now.
Right.
Now that I wasn't always there. I will admit I wasn't always there.
Right.
I wasn't cussing people out like you though, but I mean,
wish you the best with that. But I'm not condoning, you know, what I did.
Yeah.
But for the situation and at the moment, it was the right thing to do.
I understand.
They had to understand that, you know, some people can get on your level.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Chanel Austin says, amen. Every person in the pulpit isn't called by God, but self-ordained. That's true. That is so true. Victor said some church people, these so-called Christians, try to use a church as a shield to say crazy and foolish things, but get upset when they get cussed out and pushed on the ground. There you go. They're pushing on the ground again. Church people can catch these. See, Victor, you know what? Victor, talk to him on there. Victor, you violent.
It brings up a good point.
And Chanel says, Victor, you just like to fight.
I think so. Hey, but
Deacon, hold on, let me see. Deacon Jones and Sister Jenkins will be sporting a black eye. See what I'm saying? What you about to say? I'm sorry.
If I ever become a pastor or a preacher, Victor's gonna be my deacon. He's gonna be the head deacon. We're gonna run it right. I promise you that.
Please don't have Victor as the deacon.
We're gonna run that church right. You best believe that.
Not a big somebody can have a black eye. No, you can't have no.
You already know. Don't
you have to when you do that, you have to be like your dad was. Not saying to change and I mean, in some instances you're gonna have to change. You're gonna have to turn the other cheek. Now there's some times where you're gonna have to be brutal with your congregation.
All right.
But you can't. There's a way you say things without cussing folks out now.
Okay, like another thing. Like,
here we go.
No, I'm just saying. Like I said, my parents, they was Christians.
Yeah.
You know, so like I didn't grow up in a house with cuss words. Like they never cuss or nothing.
Yeah.
But I had a grandma that would cuss. I love going to my grandma's house. I just always been fascinated by cussing. I can't help that. I would do things just so my grandma would cuss at me.
Oh, you know what?
That was just fascinating to me. You know, just to hear those words, I was like, really?
You know what?
I couldn't wait to get grown. You know, so.
And look at Constance. Constance said, Victor be instigating. Yes, he does, Constance. He's always instigating. And he's talking about, can I carry a gun? No, Victor, you cannot. Not at the church. No.
Get them a couple of years. They're going to be them past it. You'll be able to tote the gun.
Oh, God.
I don't know about church, but.
Not at the church. Lord have mercy. But.
We have church outside. So. There's ways around everything.
You know what? You and Victor got an answer to everything. But once again, I told you I was going to keep it short and brief because I wanted you to share your story. And I appreciate you sharing your story. Is there anything that you would like to share or any advice that you would say to anyone? Because like I said, men, y'all grieve differently than we do. Like a lot of times y'all don't deal with it like y'all just don't. Y'all, because I remember years ago when I was dating a guy in like the late 90s and he was going through grief. He had lost someone very near to him. And I was just, you know how I can only speak for me. I'm that type that I want to make sure you're good. And if you tell me you're good and I feel like you're not good, I'm going to ask you like two or three more times. And he became upset because he went into a cave and he felt like I was aggravating him, but I just want to make sure he was good. And because of me asking him, was he okay? Man, he broke up with me.
No word.
Blocked me and everything. I'm like, I just want to make sure.
Okay, now let me ask you this. Did he tell you that's why he broke up with you, or that's why you think he broke up with you? because y'all come to your own conclusions while we do
You know
stuff.
what?
So I'm just asking
You know
to get
what?
to the bottom of it. Because if you didn't talk
But we
to
was
him,
fine before that. We were fine before that.
he
though.
might have had his other reasons, you know. He could have been going through something. He probably felt like he couldn't, you know, he didn't want to burden you or keep you down or turn you sad or something.
Oh.
Yeah, we have different reasons for our thinking, you know, and our method, you know, and sometimes we can't explain that to a woman. And when we can't explain it to them, you know, they come to their own conclusions. So like I would just say like you should have just talked to him and try to find out.
Okay, I can't say nothing of that. Yeah.
Okay.
You might be right.
Since you're single, you probably should look him up and see. Like that might be good now.
Anyway, anyway, let me before you say what I just asked you, let me see what Victor said. Victor says, turn the other cheek. Gino Jenkins speaks the truth. He turns nothing.
What? Am I right? I love Gino. Late night. Sunday 11:30.
Listen, Gino go hard in the paint.
Hey, Gino the man. Hey, he gonna put it to you.
And Constance says you really can. And Victor says Florence Baptist Temple, they carry guns. Most big churches do have someone carrying since the Charleston church shootings. We have a few members who carry at my church. I'm one of, oh God, really, Victor. You know what?
Victor, put your church up here, Victor. I'm coming to your church.
Wait a minute, was that? Oh, no, he didn't put his. That was
Put it up here, Victor.
But anyway, answer the question. What advice would you give to someone? Well, what like? Okay, let me change how I'm wording this. What advice would you give to us as women? Like, say we are dating you, or maybe a family member, or any, you know, how do we? Like, if we want to just be there for you when you're going through the grief, how can we be there without being overbearing? Because I know sometimes I could be overbearing. I could be like, I ask you about 10 times, you good? And right. To the point where I may be aggravating. It varies though, I know.
I'm not going to say that, but it's like old things like your grandparents, like they taught you. And it's something that most women probably not going to want to do. And, you know, that's cook for them, feed them, you know. He'll talk, you know, he eating, you know, that's most guys' little happy place, you know. So, you know, you get him eating and stuff, you know, he'll get to talking. So you'll find out some stuff. But y'all don't want to take the time to, I'm not gonna say y'all because I don't want to label the women or anything. I don't want no backlash later. But I'm just saying, you know, if you cook, you know, feed him, you know, try to find something that he's interested in and, you know, do it that way. Try to, you know, just be there for him. You know, it might take a while for him to talk or whatever. So don't, you know, you gotta have patience. Don't just try to rush it. Because like you said, people do deal with grief in different ways. And I've just always managed, I've just always been strong because I dealt with it early. So early, it kind of molds you a certain way. So, and with me being in church and my dad being a pastor, I've been to many funerals. I've dealt with death like, you know, all my life. So I've seen it from that side. So I guess I just kind of deal with it different. I would advise anybody, I'm not going to say it's because I choose not to go to counseling. I'm not saying counseling is not an answer. It might be an answer for some people, and that might be the method that some people have to take. So don't be afraid, don't be ashamed, you know, to go to counseling. Like, you know, they tell you like most black guys are, you know, they don't go to the doctor or anything. I have my own doctor. I go to the doctor. I have a dentist and all. Like my doctor is Dr. Charlotte Francis. My dentist is Dr. Gary Bethay. So I have a dentist and I have a doctor. You know, I go to the doctor. I get checked up regularly. You know, I'm not afraid to go to the doctor. You know, because you never know. They're here to help you. So, you know, take advantage of that. If you got a job and they paying for all that medic, you know, the insurance and everything, take advantage of it because it come out your check anyway. So you might as well use it. Right. So, I mean, go to the doctor, you know. But if you need to go to a counselor or someone to talk to, you know, some people have to talk to people. So, you know, just try to find somebody. But every listening ear is not the ear you talk to. You know, it has to be someone that you can like really trust. And then I would say like pray to God and ask him to guide you to somebody or, you know, or send somebody your way that's sincere. You know, ask them to do that one or the other, or, you know, or like, you know, maybe seek counseling. Counseling will help some people. I just choose not to go that route. I don't think it's the route for me. That was good what you said. Repeat that. You said every listening ear. How did you say that? Was good? I said every listening ear is not an ear to talk to. Oh, that's you shouldn't good. Like just talk to everybody just because they want to listen. Because some people going like you know, everybody sees it. You know, they're just gonna whatever you tell them, they're gonna run it to somebody else and they're gonna go talk, you know, about you and say, you know what, he's dealing with it that way, or he's doing this, or people always say like how if it was them, I wouldn't do this or I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't deal with it that way. But it's not them. And I don't wish anything that I've been through on anybody else. And I wouldn't want to deal with stuff that other people have to deal with. So I don't know. Just be you and do it your way. Whatever way you choose, just take pride in the choice that you made and do it that way.
Yeah. And Victor says he goes to Mount Zion AME. And he says sometimes, Lord have mercy. And I also want to say to people that you have to be mindful of the things you say to people, especially when they're dealing with grief. You don't say things, and I've learned this because I'm guilty of saying some of these things. Like I've learned not to say, because matter of fact, I have a friend, I'm gonna shout Miss Janice Alford out. She's a grief counselor. And she said there's a lot of things that people say that they should not say. And I'm guilty of saying this. Now I've said this before. There's two things that I said that was on her list. And I was like, whoa, I won't say it anymore. But I have been guilty of saying they're in a better place, especially like when they were ill. If they were ill, I would say God picked the most beautiful flower. And she was telling us, I went to one of her painting sessions, and she was saying we have to be careful of what we say, because why do you say that they're in a better place? The better place is being here with me. You know what I mean? So you can't tell, you know what I mean? Because like I said, we question it, especially when it's and it happens all of a sudden when they wasn't sick or anything, or they become sick all of a sudden and it comes out of blue. It just, I don't know. And now it makes sense to not say that they're in a better place. Just, you know what I mean? Because it's, I don't know.
Well, I've never said that because I've never felt like that. Like, I'm selfish to that. I would much rather have my parents here, Antonique. I would much rather have that.
Yeah.
In that better place. So,
but I have said that in the past, and she really, when she said that, I was like, wow. So now, and she said the best thing you can do, like, not what I do now is I just tell people that I'm praying for me, and I'll let them know I'm praying for them, or I pray for them right then. But you could tell somebody praying for them, but you don't really pray for them. So what I've in the habit of doing now is if I say I'm praying for you, I'm gonna pray for you right then.
Right.
Like if I send it to you, I'm a like we did. It was short. We didn't pray, and I forgot my bad because I was nervous. But anyway, if I say I'm gonna pray for you, I like to pray for you right then. Because I may say I'm gonna pray for you and then go home and forget. Right. So I'm in the habit of now just praying for people when I say I'm going to do it, even if it's a short prayer. It doesn't take a long prayer to get a prayer across. But I just feel like you have to pray on this. And that's what Miss Angela said. She said, "Me too. Pray right on the spots." Right.
I believe that's probably better because.
And Brittany says hello.
Oh, hi, Brittany. Because I can kind of hear your prayer.
Yeah.
Because some people I ain't gonna say they prayer sincere or real.
Yeah.
So
you gotta be careful not to have. You can't have everybody praying over you either.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm big on that, especially in church. Like I don't go to no prayer line.
So listen. I learned my lesson. I went to.
I don't do that. I ain't going to prayer line.
Listen. Let me make y'all laugh right quick before we sign off. I went to. I'm not gonna say the name, but I went to a particular church. And they prayed, right? And you know how sometimes they'll pray over you, and you know how they'll hit you on the head and they want you to fall. And I'm standing there, right? They hit me on the head praying, and they actually literally told me, fall back.
What?
Are you serious right now? And I ain't been back.
I don't blame you. Because I ain't falling either.
Like they touched my head, and I don't like everybody anointing my head with oil either. And they were like, "Can I put some oil in?" I was like, "No, I don't know what it is." But then they hit my head, and they was like, and I felt like, just like you were saying earlier, and I think someone in the comments said as well, everyone is not called. Right. Genuinely called. Some people call themselves. But for this person to tell me, fall back. Like, are you serious right now?
You fall back because I ain't going nowhere.
And Brittany says, showcase. She talking about not having everybody pray for you. And Victor says, family worship center. Victor, I ain't saying nothing. I ain't saying nothing. And Brittany said, I think I had a spiritualist woman pray over me accidentally. I have had a headache in school and she laid hands on me and was doing some weird breathing. And then Victor or greater consent.
Oh my God. Time to cut off.
Victor, you know
some of them probably gonna see this. I'm not gonna even comment.
Victor, you know what?
I ain't commenting on that name.
But anyway, it has been a pleasure, you guys. If you missed the beginning, make sure you watch the replay. And James, you got to come back now. Next time you come back, we're gonna come back on a lighter note. But I wanted you to touch bases on this because I just feel like it's something that a lot of men deal with. Not only men, but just grief in general. But like I said, it was a lot for you. Losing your mom, your dad, and recently your fiance. And then I did not realize that today is the anniversary.
Yeah, so I got flowers in the car. I'm going to the graveyard when I leave.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I commend your strength and thank you so much. And you know what? I didn't even. And do you realize that did you realize that when we booked this like 3 weeks ago? Did you realize that was going to be anniversary?
I know it's the 23rd. Like, yeah, I know it'll be 23rd.
Wow.
I'm good with dates.
But I'm saying you was cool with that.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming through and let me read this comment. Oh Lord. Victor, you know what? Victor, get off my line.
I swear when I come back, it's gonna be me and Victor in here.
Yeah, you see comments, Victor, please log off, Victor. And then he talking about, you know what, Victor, get off my live for real. But anyway, thank you for coming through. And like I said, this is what I was about to say before we log off. Next time when you come on, we're going to be on a lighter note. But I just want you to share your story because, like I said, so many people deal with grief in different ways. And we have to realize all the time. And this is what I want to say as well. I had someone, just like someone told you that insensitive comment, I had someone tell, and I overheard, and I kind of went on. Now, I didn't curse them out like you did, but I did say some words that I had to repent for. But they made a comment to that person, and they actually had lost their mother. Right. And they made a comment that you're not over that yet. And what people have to realize when you're grieving, everybody's journey is different. Everybody process is different. And then another thing that people have to realize is that there's so many coping mechanisms that when you're dealing with grief, there's some people that may start drinking, and you can't fault them for that because they have to do what they have to do in order to, get it out. Some people may indulge in alcohol. Some people may indulge in sex. I mean, there's so many things. And like for me, I eat. Okay. And I like to eat.
Right. I like to eat too. I've always eaten. So.
I eat, and but you have to respect. Everybody have to respect their journey because everybody just if you take say Susie over here may take 2 months to grieve over something, it may take me a year. Right. But there's no process. But when it comes to like your mother, and in your case, a fiance, children, there's no time frame. Right. You know what I mean? And it's like you're gonna have those moments where it's gonna hit you all of a sudden, especially when birthdays come around, anniversaries, and in your case, you may get, and I don't know, but you may get sad like when Valentine's Day, you know what I mean? Stuff like that, different holidays. There's gonna be a trigger that's going, you know what I mean? So, but like I said, on the next time you come on, we're gonna do something fun on a lighter note because I'm planning on doing something. I'm not gonna say it, but I'm gonna do something where I'm gonna have a panel with men and women, and I may ask you to come back with that. And I know you're probably going to show out because like, this is the thing. And I have to commend Jamel for this. He's like, you gotta, even though it's a Keep the Faith podcast, you're going to have to talk about those you can't just, talk about the lighter subjects. Sometimes you got to talk about real stuff, real life. Real life happens every day. So we can't just, sugarcoat things. You got to talk about real issues. So
I agree.
Yeah, so we got to talk about real things. So want to shout out to all the staff at 119 Media Group, Jamel, Lyde, Brian, and all the podcasts. There's so many podcasts. I don't want to name them because I don't want to leave anybody out. And also I want to say this, if you would like to be an advertiser on any of the podcasts, you can hook up with Jamel. Jamel will get you straight. And matter of fact, I was supposed to write this down before I went I'm live, but Jamil, you know I don't know your number by heart. What's that phone number in case anybody want to contact you to be a sponsor? And you guys, you got to realize when you advertise on the podcast, not only do you get the advertising on the podcast, but we also have our social media network, so we can also share your business or whatever you're promoting. We can share it on all our social media platforms. So there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's LinkedIn, there is Twitter. There's so many outlets. So if you want us to promote your business or anything, you can holler at Jamil. Jamil contact phone number is 843-687-5055. That's 843-687-5055. If you'd like to be an advertiser on any of the podcasts, Jamil will hook you up. And also, if you would like to be a guest on the Keep the Faith podcast, or if you have topic suggestions, you can contact me at 843-920-8124. That's 843-920-8124. And you can also email me at faithisnecessary@gmail.com. Once again, if you missed the beginning, hit that replay and watch it. And James, thank you again for coming on.
You're welcome.
See, James listen, y'all see James got some sense, right? Because they say James a clown.
I've
but
always had
I had to say that, right? But you guys, thank you so much for watching. And as I always say at the end of each podcast, you may bend, but you don't break. And always remember to keep the faith in all you do. We out, y'all. Peace.